When most people think of a revolutionary person, they think of Albert Einstein or Newton. Very few people think of Nicholaus Copernicus, the father of modern astronomy. When he was born in the little town of Torun, Poland, nobody knew the important effects he would have on the entire world. Before dying in 1543, Nicholaus Copernicus took a stand against the Church, God, and the Old World theory, a theory that everyone had believed even thousands of years ago. It stated that the Earth was the center of the solar system, and all the other planets and stars revolved around it in an orbit that spiraled around randomly, instead of the Sun being the center of the solar system. At this time, the Church would only support what supported the Christian religion. Anything that went against the religion was destroyed, along with its creators, who were often burned to death or impaled. This forced a silence among most people who had ideas that did not correspond with the Christian religion. When he noticed a flaw in the Church's theory, he eventually developed a hypothesis where the Sun is the center of the solar system and everything rotates around it. He created a book to document all of his findings. When published, it proved that the Church could be defied and encouraged other people to do so, and in the long term, it changed how everyone thinks about the solar system. His motivation was simply that the previous theory seemed off. All of this combined makes Copernicus one of the most influential scientists ever. Nicholaus Copernicus was born into a middle-class family as the seventh child, with a merchant for a father and 9 other siblings. Soon after his birth as one of the youngest children, the parents were unable to support everyone, and they were moved to a rich uncle. At this time, the Church ruled over the government. The uncle was a bishop, and he was at the top of the ranks in authority in a local church, so he had lots of power. Copernicus was a normal boy in his youth. Sadly, only 2 of the children survived to adulthood, including Copernicus. Eventually, he got a job at the local church, thanks to his uncle, and he soon became a canon at the local church. This allowed him more time to study his true passion, astronomy. Although many people believe that Copernicus was the first man to think of the idea of the Sun in the center of the solar system, some people believe a Greek man discovered this thousands of years ago, and more evidence is being uncovered from Greece to prove if this is true. When Copernicus was of age, he decided to go to college to receive degrees on many things he found interesting. He went to the University of Bologna in Italy and to the University of Krakow in his home country, Poland. After a decade of studying several topics, Copernicus received a degree in medicine, several degrees in math, and a lot in astronomy. Eventually, he would also become a teacher in Rome. Many colleges that hosted Copernicus as a student have dedicated statues and memorials to him. Although he did not meet many friends in college, several professors helped him with his studies even after he graduated. Copernicus did all of his observations with less than state-of-the-art equipment. Telescopes were non-existent, so all of his observations were done by the naked eye. His observatory was a hill with a circle of rocks to mark the patterns of the stars. With this, Copernicus would soon make the heliocentric theory one of the most important ideas ever proposed in the Dark Age. Copernicus decided to put this into a series of books named On the Heavenly Spheres, where all of his observations and deductions are documented. These books took roughly 15 years to write, and while he wrote it, he was almost totally solitary. Rarely seeing his few friends and shutting himself into his apartment in Poland, he wrote his books, and that was all he did. For now, only the closest of his friends knew about the books. At this time, he was a well-liked astronomer, and the Pope even invited him to create the modern-day calendar, something that most people still use today. He took a temporary break from his book to work on the calendar, but he in general was still focused on it. On top of all this, Nicholaus Copernicus also graduated church school and became a canon, a position right below bishop. He became this in the Church of Poland. In church is where he met most of his friends. When he finished the books, Nicholaus Copernicus intended to keep them secret and pass them only on to the most trusted people in his life. But when his friends read it, He liked the book so much that they encouraged him to publish it, even though that may mean big trouble because the church would not like them. This was when the trouble started. Nicholas Copernicus ended up taking a stand to share his ideas through a book that he knew was illegal. When he first showed the book, it took a little while for people to realize what was going on. Then the church realized that this could hurt the Christian religion. The main reason is people would come to believe that there were holes in the Christian religion, such that the Earth was not the center of the solar system. This would eventually cause distrust and worry to spread across Europe. Along with that, this publishing led to the realization that church was not indestructible. Sadly, the reason Copernicus did not die is because he was a friend of the church. Many people, not knowing this, ended up expressing their ideas and dying. One of the reasons that the church could stay in power was killing people that challenged them. After this, people realized that they could demonstrate their own ideas with more confidence, because Nicholas Copernicus proved that this did not always lead to death. But, as I have told you, that did not always end well. Such an example is Bruno, a man who openly stated his ideas, such as aliens exist, and other things like that. He was inspired by Copernicus and his actions, but the church ended up killing him despite his very high social status. When Nicholas Copernicus was lying in his deathbed with an edited, as the church changed the book to support their theory version of his book, he had no idea how much he would change the world. First, his books were eventually accepted into society, and now most people believe that the sun is the center of the solar system. This fueled the discoveries of people later on, like Galileo. All in all, Copernicus took a stand in history against the church by writing a book that defied the normal way of thinking in the old theory, allowing people to exhibit their ideas more freely in the Dark Age and make more reliable discoveries.